What's up guys, it's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity build video. Today we're going to be talking about road layouts. So this video was asked upon request. I've actually recorded it a couple of times and the damn thing keeps crashing, so I'm going to do my best to get this done as quickly as possible. Basically, I'm just going to kind of explain the importance behind why roads need to be set a certain way in the beginning and then what you can do after. So before we begin, like, subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions or video requests. Alright, first things first. At the beginning of the game, especially if you're following the Missy's Building Guide, if you're not and you don't know what it is, click on my channel, click playlists, and click the 2023 Missy's Building Guide, and you'll have a perfect city that is badass, okay? Alright, so you've started the game and you need to boost population for police, health, fire, whatever. Unlocking depots. Well, no, you don't boost it for police, health, and fire. You unlock that, but boost it for the airport, the cargo, the whatever. Okay. So, no, I'm not offline. What the hell? So basically, you're going to look at your road layout, and you're going to do a grid layout. Okay, at the beginning. Now, at the beginning, a grid layout is basically where you do 2 rows of houses, and then in the middle, you do pop boosters, and then another 2 rows of houses. Each category can be boosted 100%. So you can lay down 2 heliports at 50% pop boost, and that'll give you 100% pop boost for transportation category for the houses in which both of those buildings are hitting. That being said, once you have met the requirements to unlock the airport, the VU tower, the whatever, okay, all 3 levels of the airport, after you have met population requirements, you no longer have a requirement for that. So you don't have to meet it anymore, right? At which point you can take out the pop boosters and arrange the houses and the roads in any way you want to. It doesn't matter. But in the beginning, and in general, you need to make sure that you have your 3 red roads set up. And if you don't know what that is, check out my 3 red roads video. Basically, that's where you push all of your traffic to 3 roads that are nowhere near your houses so that you don't have to pay for road upgrades ever again. I have videos explaining layouts and how to do this, but make sure that that is the first thing that you do before you lay down anything else, okay? Because if you don't, and you start building around, it's going to make it more difficult for you to push the traffic to those roads if you have a lot of traffic build up on other roads. You'll spend a lot of time bulldozing and repaving and arranging, and it'll just be a pain in the butt. So make sure that you check that out first, okay? Now that you've done that, you've got your 3 red roads set up, you need to make sure that you have your services put somewhere. So your services need to be in an area where they're not near your houses, okay? Usually what I do is you want to make sure that you are buying the one that is most efficient for starters, okay? And then you're going to place them down in one area away from everything else, hidden, okay? And then when you get to level 30, you can start swapping them out for Omega services. Even though you're not necessarily building Omega homes, Omega services can be put in your houses, they look better, and they do 100 coverage for a 2x2 building versus whatever you're paying for the other ones. Okay, and they do look a lot better. So after that, after you've got your services set up, you're going to set up your factories and your shops. Okay, so now you've got maybe an empty map or whatever. You're looking at, you've got your houses somewhere, you've got your services somewhere, you've got your shops and factories elsewhere. Now you place down whatever your police, health, fire coverage is, or your maxes, and then you say, okay, this is the area in which I'm going to be putting my houses. After that is when you start drawing out your main road layout, and you say, okay, I'm going to do my roads in a grid layout, or I'm going to do them like this or that or whatever. Once you've met pop requirements, you no longer have to worry about where the roads are and why. You can do whatever the hell you want. Do know this though. If you start arranging stuff and you lose services to somewhere, it could be that you knocked a road out somewhere. So like if you look at my map, notice how it's very congested, and it would be very, very easy to lose track of where things are, and it would be a pain in the butt to figure out like what road leads to where. I've had situations where I've been designing and I've knocked out something and later couldn't figure out where the fuck it was coming from. The best way to figure out where the road got knocked out at is going to be to click here, click government, locate exactly which houses are unhappy, figure out why they're unhappy. If it is that they have no police, health, fire, whatever, then locate where that police, health, and fire or services are coming from and figure out if there's a block in the road. Now, for me, it was like a bridge that was disconnected up at the top or something, right? It was actually one road that I knocked out up here in this area that screwed with all my stuff over here because I basically had one road leading to everything at that point. That's very easy to do, so just make sure that you follow everything back to kind of where it came from. Now, you don't have to say, okay, this house is knocked out, so I'm just going to trace the road. You don't have to do that. You just have to say, okay, what are they mad about? If they're mad about services, you know the problem is going to be in the services area, right? So you're going to say, okay, let's figure out where things went wrong over here in this general area and then follow it back to the house. Usually it's pretty easily detectable or, you know, pretty easy to find or whatever. But sometimes it can be quite a pain in the butt. So just pay very close attention to what you're doing. If you're somebody who wants to do a huge design with your roads, like maybe a big cross or something, in that case, what I would recommend you do is you grab, you know, paper, sketch paper or whatever, and you sketch out like what the general idea of what you want to do. In that case, you are going to have to pick up everything on your map, clear it out, and draw your stuff in one big picture. If you want something similar to my layout where it's just kind of, you know, like this, dense or whatever, like one thing I get asked a lot is how did you know you were going to set your roads up like that? Because if you look like this, if you look at my roads, look at this. Can you imagine if I had drawn these first and then arranged all the stuff to put? No, there's no way. There's no way. So that is not how people are doing this, okay? What you do, if you want something similar to this, like my layout, notice how the roads are all just completely weird, like going all different directions and everywhere. And then you go like this. I make it very clear that I do not like roads. I do not like the look of them. And if I'm going to have them in my city, I want them to look good. That's why I have the pink roads and all that. So I make a very good point of constantly hiding my roads behind trees and water and bridges and whatever. So before the pink roads, I would hide stuff, you know, like really, really well. That being said, I did not draw my road layout prior to the buildings being there. That's not how this went down. So the best advice that I can give you, if you want something similar to my map, where it's very dense and natural looking, and the water just kind of flows naturally, basically what you're going to do, and what I did, is I said, okay, this is where I want my shops, this is where I want my factories, right? And then I start with my general theme of where I want to go. And then I say, okay, I want my residential areas to be in here, but how do I want them to be? So if you look back here, notice how some of the houses are in twos, and then I've got a river here and all that. I work one area. I do not work one big spot. I work one tiny area at a time. I draw my roads the best way that I can to make them look nice, and then I arrange buildings around them. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of deleting and restarting. It's a lot of moving things around, and I'm telling you right now, when I fuck with one thing on my map, it makes everything else go to hell. So usually what I do is I go through all my maps, I pick up all the buildings that I like the look of the best. I place them down somewhere next to where I'm working, and I use those buildings, like whatever, let's say I'm doing a display for Christmas or something, right? What I'll do is I'll place all the Christmas buildings in front of me, to the right or the left, or wherever I'm working, okay? And then I say, okay, I start messing with the roads and I start arranging things and I start moving things around and put this here, put that there, whatever. Because if you don't do it that way, you're going to forget which buildings you have in your menu. You're going to constantly have to open the menu and scroll over. It's going to be super annoying. Don't do it like that, okay? So basically, work one area. Try to use as little roads as possible if you want something like my layout, and try to hide them the best that you can. So usually what I'll do, like let's say I'm doing, let's see, I'll take you to my limestone map real quick. So on my limestone map, there's not really many houses at all. Like they're all in the back on the top. So what I did, because I didn't need roads for many of the buildings, like all you really need for the buildings is a dash of road. You don't need a big long road, right? So what I would do is I would draw roundabouts, and then I could put 4 buildings on the roundabouts. For example, this here, this circle here, and then you go like that, and you've got a front-facing building. Now, one thing that's always irritated me about this game is that they don't allow you to rotate the buildings. Like, some buildings are not rotatable, and it drives me crazy. It's super annoying because you have the front side of the road and the back side of the road. The back side of the road, placing the building facing you is always easy, but the front side of the road, getting a building to face that direction when it's on the front side, you can't do that, right? So you have to use a front-facing building, and there's not many of those in the game. Usually you end up having to put trees or water or something else. So anytime that you find a universal park or whatever, try to save those for the front-facing roads, okay? Try to do your road layout for what fits your design aspects. So if you want like a big road layout with lots of like lettering, some people write words or whatever, do that first before you lay anything down, and then put the buildings around it. If you want something more like mine, you'll have to work one small area at a time and then venture further into the map. Like usually what I do is I have one general idea of what I'm doing, and then I work in small pieces. So if I say, okay, I want this map to be mainly water, and I want it to have this theme, and I want it to kind of flow in this direction, then maybe I'll place down the water, and I'll start, you know, making the lake and the river and the whatever, and then I'll start putting the buildings in around it. So as you see here, there's not really many roads. But then when you look here, like this, you'll see roundabouts, you'll see little dashes, but there's not a lot of just roads because it looks like shit, you know? Up here, you know, I've got more roads. This is not done at all, but you get the general idea. Now, let's see. My Green Valley map, I did a little bit different. I did designs. Now, hearts, that's one thing you can do with the roads. You can also make pixel designs of, you know, like with trees of like Mario and Mario Star and things like that. That's not really a road layout, but you get the point. So I did a big heart on my Green Valley map with the pink roads. Cost me like 1,000,000 coins to do it, but like this. Okay, so this is one big heart road here, like that. And then I did this road to match this building. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with these roads along the side here, but you get the general idea. And then over here, like I said, I just kind of put, you know, a square around the thing, and then I just started building off to the right or the left. This area here is just like this just because I haven't dealt with it yet. That's not staying like that at all. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. So you really need to figure out what type of design you want and then go from there. If you do want a lot of roads and you're looking for designs for that, you can click the description box of this video, and down in the description box there is an album that says Design Album. And basically, you join that Google album, and people add their designs to that album. There's like 2,000 pictures in there, so lots of ideas for you guys. Definitely check that out. And if you find anything online, on Facebook, or just surfing global, and you think it's cool and you want to add it to the album, snap a screenshot and then submit it into the album. People can comment on it, they can like it, they can whatever, and then you can just share the album link with whoever, and then they can join into the album. There's tons of people in there, tons of ideas, good ideas. I mean, really good ideas. So one thing that a lot of people seem to be kind of skeptical about is taking other people's ideas, and I don't think so. I mean, I think that if you are copying somebody's idea, not necessarily 100%, but just getting the general feel for it, I don't think that's bad. I think that, I mean, it's a place to be creative, right? So if you have a hard time being creative, then just look at people that have been creative and try to kind of go with what they did, or try to kind of do what they did but tweak it a little bit maybe, or something. I don't know. Nobody really designs quite like I do. A lot of people aren't as hateful to the roads as I am. There's been a couple people that have learned how to design from me, and their maps look really good. Like TK and Sid's maps, they look pretty good. I'll show you hers. Oh wait, no, I can't because my internet's wrong. Okay, so you guys, good luck. I'm gonna go figure out why my internet's broken, and I will upload this. Hopefully that helps, but just know that if you are setting up your roads at the beginning, you need to meet the pop requirements. That is the priority. Design is not the priority at that point. Once you have done that, then you can go for design. Okay, and then it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. Just do whatever you want.